new to us is a time management company for people who are overwhelmed. I think this wasting time is one of those things that overwhelm us. We have great intentions when we come into the morning. We have this to-do list. We feel like we can get things done. Again, all of a sudden you walk in your office at 8, by 5 o'clock, you've gotten nothing done. We feel like we've wasted our time on things that were very low value. Today, I'm going to be talking about focus. I'm going to be talking about how you can focus on important things and get them done. Because as you get those things done, you go from being a person that is overwhelmed into that daily sense of, hey, I did what I said I would do today. Therefore, I am very, very excited about what we're going to be talking about. So let me move on forward. I'm going to make you a promise today. I'm going to promise you that you are not alone, that when it comes to focusing on your most important things, there are some things that can make your life better and your time management better. Before I do this, I know that there's some of you that don't know me. I'm Allyson Lewis, founder of the 7-Minute Life, and we're a time management company for people that are overwhelmed. And we've done that, and we've added a little bit to that. We're a time management company for people who are overwhelmed and looking for strategies to replace chaos with purpose, freedom, and peace. I hope that's a great thing for you, because the promise that I'm going to make is that people are coming to these webinars because they want more than just time management. They want to believe that the work they're doing is making a difference in their lives, in the lives of their family, and in the lives of their work. Today, I'm going to primarily be focusing on business high-value activities, primarily driving revenue, sales, and new accounts. It doesn't really matter what business you're in. I know that focusing on high-value activities is really hard. So the promise I'm going to make you today is that I personally struggle with focus. I personally struggle with being able to pay attention, but I do know that learning and practice can improve everything you do. Learning, repetition, practice, that's why you need to be on this call. We're going to be talking about specific high-value activities, what they are, how you can input them into your life, and how you can move forward. So my promise is, if you don't even know what a high-value activity is versus a low-value activity, you're going to find out today. So let's start with what this promise looks like. As we go through these things, again, let me just switch this, make sure that, there we go. So what's the promise? What is a high-value activity? And I hope that you have opportunity to take notes, because these high-value activities are at the very center of the 7-Minute Life. As you look at today, we're going to begin by focusing on the 50,000-foot view. I think far too often we don't look at anything but from what happens between our alarm clock going off and the moment we fall into bed so exhausted we can't even sleep. So the 50,000-foot view of what we're going to be talking about today is those high-value activities. Where do they come from? Let me begin there. A high-value activity is something that has meaning to you, and it will only come into your life when you have a complete sense of knowing what's high value, when you're driven by what's most important, and when you have an understanding of how to use repetition and specific tools to outline these daily important tasks and to make that commitment to get them done. As we look at all of this, this is the starting point. When you woke up this morning, my guess is you walked into the office, you saw all of these things on your desk. and you want to instantly stop wasting your time. The pain associated with that, because you're going to blink your eyes, the end of the day is going to come, and the question that you're going to ask yourself is, did I get anything done? Did I get anything done? And again, I cannot follow along with the chat fast enough, but if you're feeling the pain of wasting time, of not having a game plan, of not even knowing what you should be focusing on, if you will, just put that information into chat. So I'm going to take a look at this. How are you feeling about wasting time? Are you promising yourself that you can take that 50,000 foot view, look at your entire life, find out what's important to you, what drives you? Are you able to end the day saying, I have done exactly what I said I would do? As we move through, there's some really important information about time management. We're getting a question from Nikki. Does the 50,000 foot view mean you're looking down on life from above? Partly, yes. We're going to come back to that in just a minute. We're conducting a survey right now of personal time management skills, how people feel about what they're doing, about how much time they're wasting. And this is current information. I asked the question, I have great time management skills. And I asked people to focus on the yes or no question. So I'm having that same issue. Hang on. I asked them to ask that same question. I have great time management skills. And 29% said 29 people said it is absolutely not true. 46% said, or people said not really. 72 people said kind of average. Out of this number, 84% of the people that took this survey said they had average or below average time management skills. Average or below average. Again, in the chat, I want this to be very interactive. How would you rank your own time management skills on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being absolutely not true and with 5 being definitely true? How are your time management skills? How are your time management skills? And 3, recently it's been a 1. Who else? What are your time management skills? 2 plus. Come on, be honest. Diane Schmidt, 2.5. 2, 2, 2, 1, 3.5. 2. Some days 3, some days 0. Well, you can keep putting those in, but I think this information will kind of bear through as we go through for almost everyone. This is why we're here today. Our time management skills are not good. 84% of people say they have average or below average time management skill sets. So we're here because you've signed up to learn how to stop wasting your time. There are kind of 3 parts of time management. There's time management itself, there's productivity, and then there's efficiency. These are things that we want. I have a lot of people say, Allyson, why are you so passionate about time management? Because time affects every part of our life. If you watched a lot of the things that John Arnold has taught, you've seen that how you spend your day is probably how you spend your life. With each decision that we have, we can actually go this way or that way. Whatever you're working on today, whatever project or task you are working on, you have a choice to either work on it, to go this way, and to make sure that you are focusing your attention on getting this project done, or you have the opportunity to make a decision to go that way and to waste your time. It is not something that you can kind of be in the middle road. You can kind of be working with productivity, attention, and focus. It's a binary thing. It's either yes or no. Yes, I'm focusing, or no, I'm not. And when we don't focus, it causes pain. There's just no doubt about it. The excitement of this is that I believe you can stop wasting your time. So the reason that I want you to stop wasting your time, the reason I'm so passionate is I want to help people improve their time management so that, again, I'm not able to see the chat, but if your time management skills are a 1, a 2, or a 3, and you find yourself with average or below average skill sets, when your time management is poor, the so that in your life goes down. For me, as an example, back to Nikki's question on the 50,000 foot view, I want to improve my time management so that I can have more time with my family, so that I can have more time focusing on the faith that is so important to me. I want to have more time so that I can share with my friends and my family. If you're looking at this, I'd love for you to put in the chat, what's your so that? You know, what is it that you keep coming back to the 7-minute life for? When you're wasting your time, you're losing things. If you can increase and improve your time management skills, what are those so that's in your life? Are the so that's so that you can spend more time with your family? Are the so that's so that you can do a better job at work? All of these things are life-changing. What is your so that? That's why I'm so passionate about these things. Today, we're going to be talking about high-value activities and how you can use your time. So I am going to try to slow down and use what you say in the chat to help me talk about this. The best analogy I can use is that it's very easy to understand how we waste our money. Money is hard earned. We spend a lot of time and effort trying to increase our salary, to do these things that can make us money. Well, when you look at money, it is so simple to find out what is wasted, but when we come to time, it's a little tougher. So I'd like to start out with how you understand when you waste your money. I see people answering their so that's to become more efficient, more productive, have more time with my families, have a clear structure as well. I'd like to slow down to put all of this into perspective. How do we waste our money? Because it's going to flow into how we waste our time. What are some of the ways that you waste your money? Be honest. How are you wasting money? What are those things that we waste money on? So I'm going to try to wait patiently as people come in and answer that question. Internet sales, yeah. Paying late fees, wow, that's true. Crafts, none of those things are bad, but where do we waste our money? Buying things we already have because we can't find the things we already own. Clothes, paying for techs and tools, crafts and projects we never get to. Express shipping, we can't wait. What else is there? Retail therapy, all of these things. What does it feel like when you waste your money? What are those internal feelings when we waste our money? For me, those things are, I feel like I almost feel silly. Like, why would I make a decision like that that's going to affect my family? You know, why am I wasting that money? I just feel the emotion of wasting money is that I'm not making good decisions. I'm not a good steward. I'm not able to do it. Again, as I make bad decisions, I feel like I am not smart enough. I'm not capable. And I'm not able to do what everyone else, in my mind, what everyone else can do so easily. There's guilt. I'm seeing these other things coming in, anxiety. We know we're not looking forward. So these are the things that I think it's very easy to understand how we waste our money. Let me now come into the fact that I believe that time is the same way. I'm going to ask those same questions. Time, and let me just start with this. Time, as we look at this, I hope you're taking notes, because time is currency. Let that sink in. Time is currency. It is the one thing that when the day ends, when this moment ends, it is gone forever. Time is the currency of life. Time is the currency of laughter and how we explore things. Time is that currency that we can't save up. It's right now, right this moment, and it is the most valuable thing that we have. If currency is that thing that we spend, and that time is the most valuable currency we have in our life, then why in the world would we waste our time? Why in the world would we waste our most valuable currency that we have? Again, going back to those things, we make poor decisions. We don't know how to allocate our time. We're not skilled. We're not trained. We just don't know. So what are some of the solutions to that? I think the number one solution is that we have to know where we're going. If time is currency, today, tomorrow, a month from now, a year from now, we have to know the goal of where we're going. That has to be very clear. We have to realize that time is a limited commodity, and it all stems from our single choices. Am I going to go this way and focus on things that are high value? Or am I going to let routines and poor understanding take me that way, where it leads me back into that guilt, that pain, that anxiety? Today, I'm making that promise that we're going to be focusing on the high value activities of how you can function on into this and where we're going. I believe that your high value activities come from 3 areas. I don't know why my mouse is doing this. I think they come from 3 areas. They come from understanding your priorities. If time is currency, there is no way that the most valuable thing is picking up the phone and finishing a single task. What we have to do is clarify our priorities. What is most important to you? What is it that drives you, that fills you with that burning purpose? Priorities have everything to do with life, everything to do with business. In my life, let's talk about some examples. I'd love for you to put them into chat. My priorities are my faith, spending time with my family and kids. My parents are 89 and 83. What are your priorities in life? Do you feel like being creative, taking time to mentor other people, spending time with your family, teaching? What are those things that give you that internal fuel? If we don't know our priorities, how in the world can we know what's most valuable? Do you know your purpose in life? The 7-minute life, again, is not just about time management. It's about time management so that, my guess is, we want to have time management so that we can live out what's most important. And this is the hard one. In order to understand how time is currency, how you're spending your time every day, you have to have goals, personal goals and work goals. As we go through this, I'm going to talk about real specifics, because the promise I'm making to you is how to understand what high value activities are, how to focus your attention, and even how to know when you've accomplished those things. When it comes to value, I don't actually believe that this is a binary choice. A lot of people would just say, hey, value can only be one of 2 things. It either is high value or it's low value. I don't believe that. Today we're going to be talking about high value activities, but I think that there's some things that come along in the middle. I also want to talk about low value activities. The feeling that we have with time management, focusing on those high value activities and getting things done, change everything. But what are they? What are your high value activities? A high value activity is anything that leads you forward, toward a meaningful goal. A high value activity is anything that leads you forward toward meaningful goals. If you want to focus on value in life, priorities are those things that you value most. You have to understand high value activities, but the only way you can know if something is high value or not is high value if it leads you forward towards a meaningful goal. If we were doing this in a round table or in a live event, I would ask you to step back and say, what are the meaningful goals that you have? But today, we're actually beginning to talk about business values. There's a whole nother piece about personal values, but most of you are coming on these classes, I'm assuming, because you have business goals that you haven't had time. You want to understand that time is currency, and you're looking how to increase that compounding interest of how you can make that happen. So here we are in a business world. As you go through your business world, we have a starting point. I think the biggest thing that we struggle with is that we don't have clarity of what the ending point is. Let's start with a 5-year goal. High value activities for the 5-year goal would be things like, what would a high value activity be? Would be things in business like increasing revenue over a long period of time, increasing market share, teaching people and yourself how to increase your sales, increasing competencies, increasing relationships, networking. All of those things are high value activities, they're goals. But can you honestly say that when you look here today, it's May 2nd of 2017, and you look out 5 years from now, do you have an idea of on May 2nd, 2000, what would that be, 2022, wow, that's crazy. Can you honestly say that you know where you are today and that you have powerful goals? Business goals is what we're talking about today that will lead you here. Do you know what your revenue is today? Do you know what revenue you want to have 5 years from today? Do you know what kind of market share you have today? Do you know what kind of market share you want to have in 5 years? And for most of us, the answer is no. What we have are some kind of business plans that are meaningless, that are sometimes created by other people that we have no buy-in to. Do you understand where you are today and where you want to be in the future? And are these goals driving the activities that you choose to let into your life on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, and on a daily basis? The only thing that can make something high value, remember, is that it drives you toward a meaningful goal. But in order to drive you forward, you have to have clarity. You have to have clarity on business goals is what we're talking about today. What would those business goals, the simplest things? You have to be able to increase your revenue, market share, sales, competencies, relationships, also communication. There could be a lot of things. But do you know, you have to have that clarity to know where you're going. So I'm going to have to learn to be patient today because I want you to come up for me with business goals of how, whatever business you're in, how you can increase revenues, how you can increase new customers, and how you can increase your sales, looking at high value activities, either projects that are high value or activities. Clarity is creative, all of those things. Allyson, you'd be a great business coach. Thanks. There's so many things. Clarity is important. Now, my guess is that almost all of you are in that situation where you want to grow your business. If that's the case, again, I'm going to try to be aware. What are the things? What are the things that you can do today? Oh my goodness! Oh, I can't do that I'm going to have to write them down. What are the things that you can do? What are the highest value activities that you can do today? I think we don't know. If you want to increase your revenues, obviously prospecting is one thing, but what are some of those things that you can do to increase your revenues? Come on. I'm going to go slowly here, just like a college class. If your goal in 5 years is to increase revenues, what are you going to have to do? What are you going to have to do? Start at, reducing debt, any kind of reduction in debt, design new products. If you want to increase your sales, what are you going to have to do? Design new products. I'm going to continue on listening. Get started with your marketing, explore new markets. Come on, people are talking. You know, and that's part of it. Increase social media presence by writing posts on social media topics or specific topics in the job search. Diane is a career coach. Lisa said, I got laid off. I can modify this, yes, to match your needs. You have to serve customers and clients you already have. Ask for their help and referrals. Cut costs of the tools I'm not using. Let me add a couple of other things in this. I think if you're in some kind of business and you want to increase your revenues and increase new customers, there are only a few ways to do this. You have to talk to people about what you do. The more people that you tell what you do, the higher your sales are going to be. No doubt about it. You have to tell people exactly what you're doing. And so, oh, are we not seeing these? Please address your, Diane saying, please address your chat comments to everyone. And you should see a button down there that says what you're doing. Tell everyone you know. It's going to increase how they recognize you and how you increase your revenues. Now, one of the things I want to talk about is what I call precipitating events. And I want to spend a little bit of time on this. If you're in business and you're looking for ways to increase your business goals, precipitating events are one of the most important things you can do. A lot of people that are in sales hate prospecting. They're looking for ways to grow their business. We all know that we have to prospect. We don't want to call people. Here's what I want you to begin to do, is I want you to start talking to people in this format. Hi, I'm Allyson Lewis. I'm one of those people that does speaking, whatever it is that you do. I don't want to have to sell you on that product, but I know that there's going to come a point in time where people you know may have something that I can sell them. When you're looking at high value activities, you have to sell things. You have to do those things that are highest value. I want you to think, why is it so hard for us to think about high value activities? Marketing, researching your demographics. Someone says that they are a realtor, they're a nurse. Prospecting, please address chat. offering your services, not selling. Now, all of these things, and this is where it's going to get important to understand, all of these are actually high value projects. You cannot do a project. You cannot in a single day come up with a new product. You cannot in a single day just say you're going to prospect but don't know how. You can't just tell people what you do. You can't just do those things. High value activities are very different. High value activities are very different. Only way I can do that is I'm going to come into explaining the high value activities for the 7-Minute Life. Webinars, I can actually do that. A high value activity is something you must be able to do, and you must be able to do it in less than 20 minutes. If an activity that you've said is something you're going to do, and it takes you more than 20 minutes, you can actually do it. It is not something that you can take action on. If it's more than 20 minutes, it's actually a project. It is not an action. We focus on projects. We need to focus on actions, high value activities that can move us closer to the goals that we have. And this has to go from the 50,000-foot view down to the micro action view, the micro level. The micro action is something that you can do in 20 minutes or less. Why do we have so many problems focusing on what's going to make us a living? How do we focus on increasing revenues, bringing in new customers, and increasing sales? If we're a nurse, how do we improve our ability to help people to do those things that are going to make a difference, not just now, but 5 years from now? Because this is the only thing I know how to do high value activities on, let's talk about those things. A high value activity for me is to actually to hold a webinar like this. A high value activity sometimes I don't like to do, but to increase revenues, I have to tell people what I do. We have to go out. How many of you like to prospect? How many of you like to go out and tell people? You have to talk about services without selling. I'd like to open the floor to ask you, what are the high values that people like me can do to increase business? How does someone like me increase revenues, bring on new customers, and increase sales? I think there are only a few ways. What are your ideas? I created this spreadsheet for myself last night, and I said, what are the ways that I can take action? There's a huge difference in having projects that we want to do and actions that we can do. What actions are you going to take today? If you have a full day and time is currency, you can only take action on telling people, that's telling people what you want to do. You can only take action on things that you can do today. We can't create a new product today. That's a 5-year goal. What are we going to do today? Time is currency. You have a choice. Are you going to focus on high value activities? Or are you going to focus on low value activities? We had an information in there that said that low value activities, and let me go to that. I think it's just amazing when we look at the low value activities that people offer. How much of this are you spending your time focusing on? The email that I sent out yesterday, and also again this morning, when we look at low value activities, really easy to see the problems that we have. So here are some of the problems that I offered. How are you wasting your time? This was a platform that was shown by careerbuilder.com. You can see the entire report by looking at that. How do these low value activities affect you? How many of you struggle with phone and texting? The question was, when asked what people consider to be the primary productivity stoppers in the workplace, employers pointed to these time wasters: cell phone and texting. It's not that you're just picking up that cell phone, it's that it's ruining, you're wasting your time, it's ruining that moving forward. Gossip, now I wouldn't have expected that, but we get pulled into these conversations, low value. Internet, it's been studied that average worker spends between an hour and 2 hours looking at the internet on things that have nothing to do with their business. Social media, 38% said that was a problem. Snack breaks or smoke breaks, 27%. Noisy coworkers, being pulled into meetings that don't matter. Focusing on email, having your coworkers just drop by, and coworkers putting their calls on speakerphone so you're hearing all of the things that are happening. All of the things that are happening. You know, I look at this, and even this webinar is hard to teach because people don't know what's high value. Why is it so hard to understand what is most important and what's going to make you be able to focus on high value activities? I really want, because there's such a thing, when you look at your day to day, how many activities do you have scheduled or planned in your day that are going to move you forward? Again, I'm having to be slower because I want this to be in there. Look at your day to day. What things are going to move you forward? If you will, type into the chat those things on your to-do list that may or may not pull you forward. What are you spending your time on today? Are you meeting with clients that can grow your business? Are you writing proposals? Are you calling prospects? What are you doing today? We have a lot of people on this call. Why are we hesitant to say, what are those high value activities? And then I'm going to pull back in and say how you can do those things. You know, I'm looking at the chat and it is blank. And this is the hardest part of the 7-minute life. When you look at your life and you're trying to understand how you can make things, you know, it's critical. I'm looking at this and I see a lot of people. I'm a government employee, so not in sales. Nikki, when you're a government employee, what are those things that you're tasked to do as a government employee? Those are the things, you know, if people aren't in sales, Diane, you can't see the chat at all. I'm seeing a lot of chat. Are people making sure that it's coming to everyone? Can anyone see the chat? Just got the new comments. What are those things? We have a ton of people on this call. What are the things that are on your calendar today? Jill, you're not seeing, making sure everybody's sending. I'm seeing all of the chat. Are other people not seeing the chat? Can't see how to address to everyone. There should be a blue box down at the bottom that says panelists or to everyone. Make sure that you're sending your chat to everyone. Okay, Marie says that government employees have a team goal. So how do you specifically take that team goal and do something today? I'm going to step back and give you some suggestions on, is it shocking you how hard this is? We don't know what our highest value activities are. That's why we're having these webinars. And I know it's a little harder. Your sister signed in with a link I forwarded to her and she didn't have the everyone option. Okay, so Jill says work goals aren't very important to me. Wendy says I'm in a support team, which is the support of a support team. Most people don't know who we are and what we can do then. Nikki says I can't see, and I'm not sure what she's saying. I can't see Wendy. Make sure Wendy is sending everything to chat. All right, let's do a recap. The 7-minute life for those of you that have been on this call, have to do with these 4 circles. I'm going to go over them over and over again. It doesn't really matter what we do. There are 24 hours in a day. This is a hard stop. Time is currency. This is your bank. 24 hours in a day. We're seeing that people come into the day, they have to-do lists, but are these to-do lists moving you forward? If I could ask you to create a to-do list, are y'all not seeing it? I'm not sure why we're having trouble with this. Diane, let me know if you can see this. I'm just not sure why we're having technical issues. Can everyone see my screen? Yes, okay. Again, as we look at this, we have to have 24 hours in a day. That is our currency. This is all we have. When I look at that and I look at the end of the day, I can ask myself, how many high value activities have I accomplished? And how many low value activities have actually choked my time away? If this is currency, the only way we can know is that we have to take 1,440 minutes, which is how many minutes there are in a day. And the 7-minute life is about taking 1% of your time, which is 14 minutes, 7 minutes in the evening, and 7 minutes in the morning. What would happen to you if you could take that time and say, here's my to-do list, but what's going to move me forward? I think that's the key of what we don't have. Let me give a few more examples. When I look at most people's to-do list, it will have things on it like this. Create marketing budget. Let's see if this sounds familiar. Clean out email. Go buy the groceries. I hope you're writing these things down as you go. And let me just look at my calendar. Prepare for webinar. I have a 3 o'clock call with someone that is going to help me dramatically grow my business. So that's from 3 to 4. How many? And then at 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, I have an outside meeting. When you look at all these things, create marketing budget, you can't do that. That's going to be a project that's going to take 5 to 10 hours. Clean out email, we put that on our to-do list, but that's going to take 4 weeks. Go get the groceries, we can do that, but it's going to take anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. Webinar, planning these webinars take me between 5 and 7 hours. This call to grow my business, this is an incredibly high value activity. Between now and that call, what should I do to make it valuable? I need to look at my goals. I need to look at my priorities. I need to look at my purpose in life. Because this person is incredibly skilled. What would happen if I walk into that office with no agenda? That hour with someone that can dramatically grow my business will be wasted. The staff meetings that you go into, if you're unprepared, will be wasted. The day that you walk into, time will be wasted. Let me go back to the 7-minute life. The 7-minute life, 24 hours in a day, 1,440 minutes. 1% of your time is 14 minutes, 7 minutes in the evening, and 7 minutes in the morning. If I could give you 7 minutes to think, what would happen to your day? What would happen to your day if you took that 7 minutes to think about what you're supposed to do and what you need to do? I look at all of this and I think, we don't know what our high value activities are. We don't know what we're supposed to be doing. We have not taken time to think, to create activities that we call micro actions. So I'm going to step back and think about what it was like. I was a financial advisor for 30 years. High value activities are very narrow. When you have a high value activity, the number one thing in sales is that you have to prospect. You have to make sure that people know what you do. The only way you can do that is by picking up the phone and calling people, hosting face-to-face meetings, networking, and teaching seminars. When I look at people and I coach them, how many of these things are they doing every day? What percentage of their time, what percentage of their currency is focused on growing their business, helping to have customer service, helping to prospect, to call people, to take care of them? What percentage? They're not doing these things. Where they're spending their time is this, and see if this sounds familiar. They're looking at their email. Rather than taking action, they're planning what action they need to take. Over and over again, we plan, we plan, we plan. We look at the internet, we see what other people are doing. We look for all of these things. Rather than taking actions, we plan. Financial advisors do a lot of looking at their computers, seeing that interaction of red, green, up, down. They're not taking action. When I was younger, I found out that the average financial advisor made 9 outbound calls a day. They were making 1 call per hour trying to grow their business. Is that high value activity? If it took them 5 minutes to make a call, what were they doing with the other 55 minutes? They were wasting time on email, on planning, and on computers. Why did they do that? Because these low value activities are easier. This is important. They have less risk. You're not putting yourself out there, and they're more fun to do. How much time of your day are you doing this rather than as a financial advisor, taking care of your clients, trying to grow your business, increasing your revenues? What would it mean if instead of 9 calls, which is high value, you increased your calls to 18 per day, 2 calls per hour? How hard is it to increase our business? I'm going to come back and read some of these things. I have to keep separate lists and then cut through. This is from Keith. And then cut through and actually schedule things on my calendar to get them done. Allyson's recap helps. We have to look at the long things and see how to get them done. Also, look at the things that we are doing that line up with your values, mission, and goals. Keith, what are some of those things, these micro actions in your business that you can take on a daily basis? What can you do today that's going to be in alignment with how you spend your time, that lines up with your values and your mission? Karen and Keith, you're living in the choke point, that state of overwhelm. I've been using the 7-Minute Life Planner to move out of that choke point since January, and it's helping me immensely. Again, Diane, what are some of those things that you can accomplish today that are going to take less than 20 minutes? Karen Archer said, thanks, Keith and Diane. I did just get the materials and haven't had time to start using them. Set a 20-minute timer and just go. Lamina says, we move to low value, low risk because we can float through more of them, and it makes you feel more up to date at the time. So true. Keith says, yes. Just start reading the materials and start doing. You may fall down every so often. I have, but we must get up again and put the system to work. When it becomes a habit, it becomes less likely. Janice says, the more we force ourselves to do the hard stuff, the easier it becomes. All of these things are true. I want to see what are the high value activities that people can do today. What are those things? Eat the frog. Here are some of the specific things that I think I have to do to increase my business. Maybe that will help. The projects that I have to complete to grow my business is that I have to increase the number of referral partners. I have to begin to create partners where they can take our products, and sell them, where someone can take our planners, our classes, all of those things, become a referral partner and begin to help us sell them. I need referral partners that become wholesalers, where they buy our products at like 80% and they sell them at 100%. Just like anyone else. Why wouldn't I want to have people that are selling our products? That's a referral partner. Some of our products, I need them to buy them at 50% and resell them at 100%. Am I selling to you? No. This is a complete project that's going to help me grow my business. Other things that are important to me is I have to look for media, not social media. I need to focus on finding national media and regional media. You know, these are important projects. I was just in Real Simple Magazine, Fast Company. All of those national and regional media help me. I need testimonials to put on our website. I want to make ease of purchase. These are all things that are projects. Do these projects make me any money? No. Projects are great things to have, but they don't make money. We focus on projects. When you look at the 7-minute life, and when you look at the 7-minute life and you have all your to-dos and you've scheduled them, what are those 5 highest value activities that will move you forward? What are the things that will move you forward? Most of us don't know. Most of us end up putting projects on our to-do list. For example, Allyson, you need to find people that want to sell your materials. That's a project. What would an activity be? I know people that are interested in helping us. I need to pick up the phone and make that phone call. I need to specifically ask one person to do that, to be a referral partner with us. That one person is something I can do in 20 minutes or less. What are the things that you can do, the projects that you want to do? To increase national media, I have to make a pitch. I have to call them and say, hey, we're coming into the summer. Why waste your time in the summer? Here are 5 bullet points, and I have to send that out. That's something I can do. Ease of purchase. The ease of purchase part, this is a project. What I can do is increase our product descriptions. I've done that by contacting Fiverr. I have paid $5 to have them increase our product descriptions. That took less than 20 minutes. And then importing their information into our store is going to, again, take less than 20 minutes. Can you see the difference between having this broad project and coming in and saying, here are the things I know having people help me are going to increase our sales? When I bring someone in to be kind of a distributor of our products, let's just use an example of the 7-Minute Life Daily Planner. Great, they love it. They buy one planner. Is that good for me? Yes. But what if they become a referral? Let me clean this out. What if they become a referral partner for me and they begin to sell the planner to their media? They're buying the planner at 80%. I can't do the math on that. And reselling it at 100%. So 100% is $25. and they're buying it, gosh, I can't do that in my head, for $20. And so this becomes a geometric sell for them. The classes that I teach that are $1,000, why would I do that? I can sell one at a time. What if I have 100 people that are interested in becoming referral partners and they get 30% of that? I want you to look at these things as business multipliers. If I sell a product for $1,000, they get to buy it for $700, and they make $300 a pop. Can you see that these are projects? How do I make that happen? I call one person at a time. What are those high value activities? How are you going to grow your business? I'm going to have to bring people on to geometrically explode the business. I'm going to have to work toward getting national media. I'm going to have to work towards holding these webinars. What are those things that you can actually do? I can call people. I can send out something that is important to my friends. I can be on LinkedIn and I can specifically ask people one at a time how they can do things. We're going to be opening this up to questions, but what about you? What actions are you going to take today? What are things you've not thought of? What are those things, if you're in sales, that can geometrically increase revenues? Do you know what your goals are today and where you want to be 5 years from now? If you have a high value meeting coming up like I do today with an expert in business modeling, am I going to take 20 minutes to prepare for that meeting? Yes. What questions do you have? What things can you do? If you looked at your entire to-do list today, and somehow I could wave a magic wand over your to-do list, and at 5 o'clock, every to-do was completed, would it have made a difference in your life? Would it have made a difference in your revenues? Would it have made a difference in anything that you do? Here's my last point. What is going to drive your high value activities? There are only going to be a few activities that are going to make you move forward. What drives them is you have to know where you are today. And this takes that clarifying. Are you overwhelmed with things? Are you wasting time? Being aware of what you are wasting time on, just that awareness. If you're on your email, if you're making phone calls that don't matter, beginning to be aware of those things, to track those things. Awareness is the beginning of getting low value activities out of your life. You know, it might be getting rid of the television for an hour a day, getting rid of those things. I can guarantee you that organizing the things that you use on a regular basis will help you get more done. You have to clarify those things. You have to know the end result. Do you know with certainty, with complete understanding? But what's going to drive all this? The 7-minute life begins. What drives this is having a clear understanding of your priorities, having a clear understanding of your purpose, knowing what is most important to you, knowing how you can use your gifts and talents to serve others, and understanding that burning drive, that desire. What is that? What is that? A high value activity is something that moves you forward toward a goal. You have to know where you are today, clarify the problems, know where you're going in the future, and then begin to use your gifts and strengths one at a time. Today is May 2nd, 2017. Look at your calendar. Is there anything that you're going to do today, anything on your to-do list that's going to move you forward? Is everything on your to-do list a project that cannot be done? Or have you begun to have micro actions, actual tiny steps that you can take that will move you forward? The entire part of the 7-minute life is if you took 7 minutes to decide 5 high-value micro actions that you would do today in 1 week over a 7-day period, you would have accomplished 35 high-value activities. If you focused on high-value activities for the next 90 days and you accomplish 5 high-value activities, you would accomplish 450 tasks. 450, the power of this. But the biggest problem of all is that we don't know. We don't know what we should be putting on our to-do list, and we don't know how to break those things down. I made a promise to you earlier that what we can do in life is move from where we are today to where we want to be. What would happen to you if you began to focus on high-value activities that improved your purpose, that took you forward, and that made your life better? We're here today to help you improve your time management so that time is currency, and as we waste our time, it squeezes out our so that, and we live in pain. I'm now going to stop sharing my screen. Today is such a hard lesson to learn because we don't know. We don't know. I'm going to open it up to questions and answers. I really believe that high-value activities are one of the hardest things that we do. As you now think about what industry you're in and what your goals are, what can you do today? Step out of the projects. That's the hardest part. We can't put on there, create marketing budgets. I cannot put on there, create some kind of campaign. I can't even put on there, hey, I want to have so many calls. All I can do is call. All I can do is execute the campaigns. I'd like to see how you're going to do this. We're coming from Karen Archer, who said, you are spot on about the outbound calls. I fall mercy to the inbound calls due to the nature of my business. I need to be more productive in between. Lamina says, I'm famous for the I'll come in an hour early. I can start that task. I never seem to realize that I am busy every day, all day. So I continue with the low priority task until it's deadline or crunch time. Then I feel like my work is not the quality that I'm capable of because I'm rushing to meet the deadline. Diane says, I've unintentionally taken a couple of days here and there and feel myself spinning without accomplishing what I need today. The things that calms me is returning to the 7-minute planner and identifying my 5 before 11s. That is true. Kimberly, I'm not sure what you were going to put in there. Jill says, I seem to drift Saturday through Monday. I know it's true because I don't have a plan. Kimberly says, I'm interested in becoming a partner. Great. I'd love for you to do that. Kimberly, we're going to be setting that up. Jill says, I wonder if I should give myself permission to take the weekends off. Jill, you might consider making a to-do list for a weekend that helps you prep. Maria, set up your expenses before pricing the product. Perfect idea. That would take less than 20 minutes, I think, to price one. Nikki says, yes, I feel less stress. You know, all of these things, I'd like to, again, say, what are the things you can do today? What are the things you can do today? Diane says, do we track our high-value activities or the low ones? Lamina says that I would state 55% of my job is delegating and tasks through emails. Wow. I have 330 reports, including 30 supervisors and 300 brand agents. So I'm usually saying no to projects that have to do company projects and focusing on client demands. Lamina, back to you. With those reports, I love it. What can you do today? What are those 5 things that would make your reports? What are those 5 things? Diane, do you do your 5 before 11 a.m., including weekends? It takes discipline. I want to make sure that I'm not seeing any activities. I need to do a role or job audit to identify what is the value of level and prioritize accordingly. Too hard, we're working hard and long hours, but it's not on those critical activities. So what are the critical activities? This is what I'm trying to get to. What are the critical activities? Even if you're not seeing the chat, which make sure you're going to everyone. Jill, I'm sending them. Lamina, perfect. I need to email all my hires for my next virtual class with my headshot and introduction. Very specific. That's what I want to know. What is it that you need to do today? And that's actually pretty something you might be able to do within 20 minutes. Perfect, Lamina. I need to send an email. Jill Key says, I need to schedule a meeting. That's perfect. All you have to do is schedule the meeting. It's hard. Why is it so hard to come out with something we can do? Lamina, I need to do 2 of my coaches' reviews. This will only take about an hour for each one of them. Specific, perfect. Lamina's coming in on it. Jill, I need to schedule a one-on-one. Tell me more about what that means. You know, we've still got a lot of people on this call. What are the critical activities? You know, where are you spending your time? Where are we wasting our time? We waste them on planning, on emails, on having to-dos that we can't do. Lamina, I need to proofread and approve all corrective actions in my approvals box. How long will that take, Lamina? Very specific action. What are those things to look at your calendar? Is anything on your calendar going to move you forward? Anything? When you have a meeting with your staff, is that going to move you forward? Are there actions that are going to come out of that? Lamina says that she's going to take about 2 hours. Let's look at the things today. Can you see why this is so hard? Let's find out from people. Is it hard to know the activities that you can do today? Lisa says, I need to send my colleague my resume so she can review it and provide feedback. Perfect example. That is something you can do. You know, we've got a ton of people. Let's talk about actions from any business. I know we have people on government. What can we do today? How much of our time is spent not doing things that are going to move us forward? Who do we need to ask? What do we need to do? What is your job? What is your role? If you're in finance, understanding and creating an outline of the projects that you have. Let's use a CPA as an example. A CPA comes in, they pull out a tax return. First thing they have to do is review it, 20 minutes. Second thing they might have to do is call the client. Third thing they may have to do is begin to input data. Fourth thing, send the tax return off. These are absolutely actions. And some industries have an easier time creating actions. There's several people that are coaches. Kimberly, Diane, let's see what actions can you take today to grow your business. What can you do today as a coach? Why is it hard? It's incredibly hard. It's incredibly hard to know the 5 before 11. There's still a ton of people on the call. Let's come up with actions. Tell us what industry you're in. You know, I went to the eye doctor. I got new glasses. That's an action-oriented business. They schedule appointments. The doctor meets with me. They do the eye exam. They find out my prescription. They pick out the glasses. They send it off. A lens person makes the glasses. The glasses come back to me. Most of us aren't in action oriented. We have to understand. Diane says, make a list of topics for blog articles. Perfect. Wendy says, walk by new directors' offices and introduce myself. Perfect. Jill says, summarize my notes for the meeting. Diane says, yes, Lisa, she does her 5 before 11 with a lighter load. This is where we're getting into. Lamina, it's not hard to know what to do. It's difficult to focus on these tasks as real time with interruptions coming in. Live calls, agents. I also recruit for my account. So separating the management roles becomes an issue with real time. This is perfect. It comes down to using my voicemail and shutting my office door. This is hard for me as I have to work around the calendar as well. I need my own voicemail and book my own business. Marie says, I do my activities. I send many emails to meet people face to face, but sometimes it's frustrating. Many activities I do don't get to the next step. Perfect. What do you do? Diane, Lisa, I'm still working to strengthen this habit, and prepping for the upcoming week is very helpful. Time management. Time management. The key is we have to know. We have to know, not just planning. Several of you are coming in with specific actions. A lot of people still are not commenting on what actions. Weekends are pretty easy. I need to do the laundry. I need to pay the bills. I need to clean up the dishes. What are the actions that we need to do at work? Prospecting for local speaking opportunities to raise exposure. Jill, send a link and a list of questions to the tax department. Perfect. What actions do we have to take? You know, we're 15 minutes left. We've had about 10 people say, these are the actions. What are my actions? You know, I'm a writer. If I'm a writer, guess what? I need to write. If I'm a speaker, I need to set topics for what I'm going to speak about. Here's a perfect example. I'm going to share my screen. Last night, I was working on these Zoom calls. I was working on the Zoom calls. And in order to do that, and this took more than 20 minutes, but in order to do that, this is a perfect example. Maybe it'll let me go in there. It may not. A perfect example is that I scheduled every call that I have coming forward. Every webinar that we're doing, I'm just not going to let me go in there. Every webinar that we're going to be doing, oh, it'll show it here. Register now. I set all of these things. I set the ability for me, and this was a high value activity, to pre-register for our upcoming webinars. This was in the email. I set the future dates. The one on May 9th, reaching your goals, how to benefit from using a monthly review. The action was scheduling the times and creating the topics and putting them into Zoom. Next topic, struggling with focus, how to improve your attention span. Efficiency, creating greater productivity for your daily work. On May 30th, powerful goal-setting strategies using deadlines, timelines, and milestones. On June 6th, very actionable, clutter, how to organize your workspace. Today is a harder class. Why? Because it's so esoteric. This was a perfect example of taking action. I knew that I needed to plan the upcoming webinars. That was step one. I needed to look at the calendars. I needed to realize what are the things people want to do. I started with the topics. I had to create the topic. This was something I could take action on to start and completely finish. That's a great example of things that we have to do. What are some of those other things? I'm seeing them. Perfect. Lisa says, I have to return the computer to my former employer, providing completion. How many library books do we have out? How many pieces of things do we have in our closet? How many file folders do we have on our desk that if we took one file folder, made it a high value activity, looked through it, found out what we needed to do, and completely finished? Kimberly said, this is great brainstorming for the group. Do you have a Facebook group? If so, I'd love to join to connect with others about business and time management. Yes, we'll be putting that all out. Diane says, this is perfect. Call past clients. She's a coaching She coaches people on career coaching, talk to buyers and sellers in the process of buying or selling a house. And that may be her sister. Plan out marketing for the year so I can put that on autopilot. Kim says, please provide a replay. Kimberly, I agree with you. Why is this so hard? There's still people on the call. This is the hardest thing that any of us can do. It's easy to understand actions like I need to create better file organization. I need to make sure that I've taken advantage of sending out the invitations for the next event. I need to take my dog to the vet. It's easy to look at things that we need to do that don't move us forward. What are the actions in our own businesses that move us forward? What are the actions? I see a lot of people that are on the call. This is the hard part. You know, career coaching portfolio, create that. You know, I try to create a template of the highest value people that I can contact and say, I want to do some speaking with you. I try to come out and say, I need people to help me to increase my speaking exposure, but that's a project. What can I do? I can look at one of my friends from my prior job, send a message to them and say, John, I'm doing a lot of speaking now. Who do you know? Are you using those events? When's your next conference? That's something I can do. Something I can do. Great. Wendy says, ask for recommendation letters. Wendy can pick that up and contact 3 or 4 people, and she can ask that question. Perfect example. Lisa says, I need to go to career websites online and search for jobs and send resumes. Perfect. Don't just say we're going to do that. That's a perfect example. She can look at 3 places. She can search for 3 jobs and she can send out 3 resumes. Perfect. Perfect. Kimberly says, I can write a query level letter to have my article published for exposure. Perfect. What I do when I want to do that is I seem to spend 2 hours searching on how to write a query letter. So I've wasted all this time to write the query level or to research it when I could just write it. Lamina says the first action, shut her door, set a time on the calendar, send an email to the team. Action, that she'll be in the office however unavailable for the time blocks. Own it. Diane, Wendy still wants you to address your comments to everyone. Lisa says, I need to call my friend who works for Force Work One. She said she has contacts for me. Perfect example. These are things we can do. I'd love to have a live call where we had 25 people. I'm not just listening through a chat. I'm encouraging people to tell me. Let's not just talk about projects. Let's not plan our query letters. Let's not plan how to do something. If we want to learn something, take 7 minutes to plan what you need to learn and then go learn it. Kimberly says, oh my, this is so energizing. I'm pumped to get stuff done. Kimberly, I know that you are a coach. I know that you've been through the training that we teach. When I look from the conversations we've had, you have some 50,000-foot things that you want to accomplish. Create a website, developing a marketing 1 page. Problem for us is that I go out and I look at everyone else's website. And I keep looking at their website and I keep looking. If I want to have a 1-page brochure that I can take action on and send out to people, I'll spend 2 weeks looking at other people's brochures. Having a plan of looking at things is not nearly as valuable as sending out something simple. If you send out anything, it's simple. I love Kimberly because she is understanding we've got to take those projects. If we want a website, we just need to buy the domain. If we want a website, the next step is to put up a homepage. We don't have to create the entire thing. We just have to take 1 step at a time. Diane says, Lisa, 80% of job seekers are trying to fill their next job through networking rather than just one-on-one applications. So Diane, I agree. How can people then network, and how can helping them network drive business back to you as a career coach? Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Diane. I may be wrong, but I think the nursing field is different. Lisa, I absolutely think the nursing field is different. You, again, are one of these people, like the eyeglasses, like the CPA, that you already are very action-oriented. You take care of someone. You look at the chart. You move forward. What's going to happen in the next hour? You bring in the medication. But Lisa, back to you, those are all powerful activities, but are you putting time in your day to make sure that some of those activities bring you life and purpose, that they energize you? Because my guess is, as a nurse, you find passion in helping people. You find purpose in serving the families around you. We have to be aware of those things. Tina says, dedicate 15 minutes to writing goals for the next 3 months. Action. Perfect. Lisa, it means, I mean different as not networking, but using online to apply for jobs. Right. Diane, Liz from the Human Resources Workplace has amazing job searching materials. So the action for Kimberly and Liz is to exchange emails, possibly on LinkedIn, and for those of you to share the materials. Kimberly, I love Liz Ryan. JT O'Donnell with work daily is great. I misunderstand. Liz Ryan, obviously from the Human Resource Workplace, has amazing job search materials. Kimberly, it'd be great to narrow that down and say, Diane, here are the 3 specific things I would encourage you to look for. We're beginning to understand activities. What are those activities? My executive administrator and financial, can't ever remember, financial guru has just walked in. She comes in on Tuesdays and several other days at 12:30. With that in place, let me just pull this up. I have an entire specific list of things that she can take action on. I know she's glad about that. I need to have a list of credentials when I fly. I have to cancel a hotel room. I need to turn in some insurance information for one of the biggest projects I have that I've been working on for more than 8 months. And the last action is I have to show how much liability insurance I have. That's going to take less than 20 minutes. It's the final cog in securing the biggest thing that I have. It's a tiny action. We have a lot of people that want to be referral partners. Molly has created a form. She's created a template. I just need to make sure that the people that want to be referral partners get that template. I also have to send out some other pieces for classes that I'm teaching. You know, we have all kinds of classes that are coming up. Master classes, train the trainer, classes for financial advisors. I've planned them, but now I have to market them. So I can't put market classes on my to-do list. A class is to contact a person that has influence and tell them about the class. Create a one-page brochure. Doesn't have to be fancy. Make sure that person has the very basics. Our marketing, we try to make look too good. If you're marketing, what do you do? When's it going to be? How much is it going to cost? Put it on a sheet of paper and tell as many people as you can. In 20 minutes, I can send out 5 emails to tell people. What are we going to do? What are the actions? As we begin to close up, we have 2 minutes left. Do you think it's hard to come up with those high-value activities that are tiny little things that can move us toward our goal? High-value activity is to make a list of influencers I know. Perfect, Diane. I wish we had more time. Again, I wish this was a live meeting. I'd love to set that up where we have 5 or 10 people where you can talk to me, we can all see each other. We need to think of the very few things that we can do. Make a list of influencers, contact those influencers. Every person on this call is doing different things. We need to make a list of high value activities. That's where a Facebook group would come in. 1 minute left. What is so hard about coming up with the high value activities? We're very aware of the low value activities. Talking to friends about nothing, looking at our Facebook at work, texting just because we text. Low value activities, we understand. We understand high value projects that we need to market, we need to increase revenues, we need to make more phone calls, but we have got to drop those down into daily actions. Jill, we're going to go ahead and close with you. High value activities are not always fun. And I think to finish out, high value activities, we've got to have those things. We've got to know our goals. We have to move from high value projects into high value activities. I'm going to leave it at that. We have a lot of things coming forward. This was one of the hardest classes to teach because every industry is different and every group is going to have different high value activities. That's the number one thing. If you could do 5 high value activities every day, 5 over a week would be 35 activities. If you could focus on just 5 high value activities for the next 90 days, you would accomplish 450 things. Imagine doing that. Are you offering materials today? I'm not really, Diane. You can give me a call and I'd be happy to create materials for you. Hard call to have. Let's go out. I'd love to have you contact us at info@the7minutelife and send to me in your industry high value activities that you can do. I'm Allyson Lewis with the 7 Minute Life. I appreciate your time and I'll see you next week.